upon the first reason that the Gemara is bringing over here. I got with Tamashra from the Gemara over here that the Bnei Yisrael and the Midbar B'chlal did not malad themselves. Taifs brings actually a steer to that from a Pirkei de Reb Lezer. Pirkei de Lezer said that in fact that they were mulling themselves while they were in the Midbar. As a matter of fact, because the Pirkei de Reb Lezer ties the posting Mimona Afar Yaakov. Who can count the Afar Yaakov? What is that referring to? Mimona Afar Yaakov. So said the Pirkei de Reb Lezer because Bilam, when he said Mimona Afar Yaakov, he saw in the Midbar there was filled Orloseim Shel Yisrael, because the Orla really usually you put into the ground, into the Ophir. So Mimona Afar Yaakov, who can count that which I see, which is buried in the Ophir, which means all the Orloseim Shel Yisrael. Mamela, according to that, it comes out in the fact that they were mulling themselves, that they did mulling. Interesting is that the Rajba was Meyashiv the Midbar Sinai, and so on and so forth. So the Rajba wants to say that which is mentioned in the Pirkei de Reb Lezer, that they didn't malad in the Midbar, that's from those orlas that they malad that was before Ma'amad Har Sinai. And Mamela, but later on, but after Ma'amad Har Sinai, and Ochanam they didn't malad, based upon what the Gemara says soon, because Lenoshiv Lahu Ruach Zafainis. But the reason that they didn't have Ruach Zafainis is because they were rejected, as the Gemara says, because of the Chet Egel. But before by Ma'amad Har Sinai, before Ma'amad Har Sinai, they were not Nezufim at the time, so they did have a Ruach Zafainis, said the Rajba, so therefore then they did malad themselves at that time. And all the orlas that were found, that was seen, was based upon those orlas that they malad themselves, as a matter of fact, before Ma'amad Har Sinai. Now Toshis basically asks here a basic question. If in fact that the Yidden were not malad in the Midbar, so how were they able to eat kachim in the Midbar? How were they able even to eat basar in the Midbar? We know that in the Midbar they were not permitted to eat basar taiva only through being makar of korban shlomit. And Rabbi someone who's an oral who's not gemalit, and oral is also b'achilas kachim. Rabbi says, how were they able to eat basar in the Midbar? So Toisa says that the truth is that there are two halakim. Those Yidden that came out of Mitzrayim, right, those Yidden, the original Yidden that came out of Mitzrayim, they tackle the ma'aseh, they malad themselves. It's only the newly born in the Midbar. It's only the newly born in the Midbar, because in the Midbar they didn't have the Ruach Zafainis, they tackle were not gemalit. But the Yaitz of Mitzrayim, the Yidden came out of Mitzrayim, they in fact were gemalit, so they ate basar shlomim. Though they were born in the Midbar, they were not gemalit, so they could not eat basar shlomim. Why? Because they were arelim. However, Toisa says, being that they had no heter to eat basar shlom, they were permitted to eat basar taiva. The issue that in the Midbar one could not eat basar taiva is why? Because you have the option to eat basar shlomim. But if you're in a situation that you're not able to eat basar shlomim, in this case because they were not gemalit, Toisa's time, as a matter of fact, then there would be a heter to eat basar taiva as well. And similar like we find in the first parak in Masechtas Chulin, we find the moshel that tzvi v'ayol are chayes, which you cannot be makar of karbonas from these animals. So tzvi v'ayol, she efshel akrivoy, they were permitted to eat basar taiva. In other words, only those animals that are fit to be brought as a carbon, those would be also to eat basar taiva. But tzvi v'ayol, so mele he was in here. If people are on a matzah because they're not gemalit and they're not able to be makar of shlomim, they had a heter to eat basar taiva. The Gemara goes on, Avi Boy saying another teretz.